Let's get started here. Hey, if this is distorting and overloading on your computers, just let me know. I'm using the computer microphone. So, check, testing. Yo. Hey, Christina, how you doing? Sound alright? Alright, no distortion. The trusty Apple mic is working. Hey, you guys, I'm Ken Rose. I play guitar in Hero Jr. This is Orange Hangs. We get together every Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock UK to talk about all kinds of shit. Yeah, hope you guys are having a good Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. And I'm sitting here in my studio mixing the new Hero Jr. record, which is going to come out in November. And we're all very, very excited. We did it live in the living room, everything totally live, and think it's the best record we've ever done. So that puts me in a great mood. See how you guys are doing. Hey, Jay. Well, we're getting some regulars here. How cool. All right. Today I'm going to be playing through my OR50, great, my Rocker Verb 50 and a PPC 112. And I got a couple pedals that I'm using that I'll get to. This is just straight up. I'm using the 1972 Les Paul Standard. It is the conversion from Deluxe that they did if you wanted T-top pickups in 1972, which obviously the person that I bought it from wanted. So I love this guitar. I've been on tour with this guitar for almost 9 years with Hero Jr., and that's about 850 shows. Yeah, this is what it sounds like. I'm just going straight through the high gain channel. Everything's straight up. All right, you gotta love Orange. Still my favorite amp in the world with Les Paul. For those of you guys tuning in, welcome. I'm Ken Rose. I play guitar for the rock band Hero Jr. You can check us out at Hero Jr. HEROJR on Instagram and HeroJuniorMusic.com online. There's all kinds of cool stuff there. If you like what you hear and you want a free download or something, give me a buzz on my Instagram. It's at mywarpedhalo, MYWARPEDHALO. I can take any questions you got. I do have. I looked bald. I'm not bald. Okay, I got some good questions. This one is from Paul, and he asked plugin recommendations for recording. Okay, yeah, currently we're recording at home and we're not in the studio, so I am doing almost everything in the box. The main plugins that I use are pretty much compression. I would say that's the compression and EQ, and I don't do a lot of processing. I'm really happy that we were recording the band live, and I'm pretty much getting the sound onto tape exactly the way we want to have it. And yeah, I mean, I do use some plugins. What I can really recommend for the money is Steven Slate has a plugin subscription. I think it's about $15 a month. It's really, really good. It's got everything that you would need to make great quality records. Even if you're doing stuff on a small studio, they've definitely come up with some killer plugins, and they're really usable. Excuse me. And they've got some great tutorials online, which is really, really awesome. And I mean, I've been doing this my whole life, and I've learned quite a lot about producing and engineering and all that stuff along the way. But I love watching other top people talk about their work. And he's got all kinds of different cool people on his website, and it comes with a subscription. And I definitely find myself up late at night watching other people talk about how they work. But they got really cool people that do a lot of bands that you've probably heard of. So Steven Slate's really good. Plugin Alliance is also really good plugins. It's the same kind of thing. It's about $15, and they have got killer plugins, a lot of different stuff. I pretty much base, if I'm going to subscribe to a plugin service, I want to make sure that there's like 4 great compressors and 4 great EQs. If I've got that, then that's all I'm interested in. In London, I was working on an SSL room, and both of these companies, Slate and Plugin Alliance, have really, really good Neve SSL, like Helios models. They've got all the classic desks, and they really sound great. I would, if it didn't sound good, I wouldn't want to use it. And then another company in Germany that I've been using all their plugins, Black Rooster Audio. They have got killer models of the Uri compressors, the 1176, the LA3, the LA2. They're a little more expensive, and they don't have a subscription, but man, for a couple $100, you can get enough stuff there as well, and you won't need anything else. So those are the 3 companies I use, and it works for all styles of music. I mean, obviously Hero Jr. is 70s rock, and they've got all these companies have cool vintage stuff, and it keeps the sound of the band the way we want it to sound. And when I'm mixing and recording pop projects or indie projects, there's enough weird shit in there where I could experiment, and it's fun. So those 3 companies, Slate, Plugin Alliance, and Black Rooster Audio, those are the ones I use. I think it's really good to experiment, especially because when you're using plugins, most companies will give you a free trial, and you can tell really quick if it's going to be good or not. So that's, yeah. 212 vertical. I mean, I'm using 212s, and I just use my PPC 212. My touring rig is actually an OR50 and PPC 212s and a totally different pedal board. And I've played a lot of shows with that 212, and I've never played even, really big shows, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you can, reach 5,000-10,000 people the same with that if it's mic'd up good. I love my 212. Sure, they can give me anything they want, but I use my 212, and that's the one that I use. And I think if I need to up my stage sound, which so far, if you've got good side fills, you really don't need to have a lot of amps on stage. But yeah, if I'm gonna do it, I would just add another 212 probably, because with the OR50, I find it works best with 212s. I've tried it with everything. I mean, I've tried it with 412s. I've tried it with 112. But yeah, for me, I haven't played actually one of the stand-up 212s, but the PPC 212, I love that. I've got more bottom end coming out of that cabinet than any other speaker cabinet that I've played, and I just turn it sideways, and so I guess I get the same effect. But this is my studio rig. If I'm doing sessions for people, I'm using the Rockerverb 50. I find it really good. It's got a really good clean sound. Does it? Yeah, it does have really good. Oh. Again, that's just straight up. I love the clean sound on this. I have been fooling around with some new pedals. I got a new distortion. It's a fuzz box that I got from Echo Park Guitars in Detroit. Gabriel is a killer builder, and this is a combination clean boost and fuzz. And for the indie stuff, this is really, really good. I'll play some. This is a really nasty kind of clipping fuzz. Like that a lot. The other thing that I've been using on this pedal board from Echo Park is a dual clean boost, which is really cool. I find it breaks up the speakers good. So here's my totally clean sound. Then I kick this on, and I got a pretty cool. And then the other fuzz that I've got on this pedal board is the orange fur coat, which is really cool. This one's got a lot of bottom end too. And it's got a lot of sustain. That's a really underrated fuzz, the fur coat. It's really good, especially on. I've been using this a lot on film and TV stuff. I find it's pretty nasty fuzz. Okay, so that's a good question. I do have a foot switch, but one, I don't use this amp on stage. This is my studio amp, so that's why I'm just switching it manually. And with my OR50, I run the same setting all the time, and I just use my volume knob. It's pretty, I don't know, it's about halfway up, maybe a little bit more on the volume, but I never use the foot switch. If I was using this one live, I probably wouldn't actually. I use my volume knob to get clean, and even on this amp, it's really effective. I mean, now I've got it on high gain. I've got the gain a little bit past 12 o'clock. I can back this down and. So I'm more in the school of using my volume control on the guitar to do changes. I've said it a few times on the show that when we're touring, the simplest thing possible, and my main sound is just my guitar through my OR50. So I use a few pedals to augment the sound when it needs it, but it's really 95% I'm going right through the amp. So it's just my guitar and my volume knob. I find when switching, it's just too much stress for me. We're a really straight up rock band, kind of like 70s meets grunge, and I get everything I want without a whole lot of pedals. So, but yeah, I mean the orange. This is the old school one. I use this for switching, and they've got new ones that are like a third of this size, which that's the thing to have. So yeah. What else? But yeah, this I just really find on all pickups on this guitar, it works really good with the volume knob on, you know. But yeah, I do really love this amp. Okay, we'll get Anthony Turco on next week, and we'll talk about the vertical cabinet. That's good for me too, if he wants to do that. Questions. Okay, what else did I get here? You guys could send in questions too if you don't want to ask them here. A lot of people have been sending them in to my Instagram, which is My Warped Halo on Instagram. But before I do that, look who just popped up in the viewfinder. Hey, dude.
Hello. How's it going, dude?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Just trying to, be productive.
Yeah. I haven't been on social media so much lately. Have you finished up your one a day?
Yeah, I did. I actually posted a video about it this weekend, about how I failed and what my experience is with it. So,
I mean, you only failed because of the fires, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I failed because of the fires, and one day I didn't have internet, and by the time that all piled on top of each other, it was just like, I'm just out of energy, man.
Yeah.
I just don't have it in me.
I know.
So, well, I talked about it in the most recent video and what I learned and all that jazz. So it was it was an experience.
Cool. So for you guys that don't know, this is Blake. He's got the Tone Mob podcast at the Tone Mob on Instagram, and he's got a YouTube channel. Is it also just Tone Mob?
It's the Tone Mob. Yeah,
the Tone Mob, and he's got a lot of good shit going on. A lot of pedals, talking with musicians. What's the last podcast?
I just put up a podcast today with my friend Sean Pierce Johnson. He's also a guitar YouTuber, a guitarist in California. And it's actually kind of like an important one because we're talking about some of the ramifications around the PRO Act and Assembly Bill 5 in California and how it's kind of inadvertently impacted musicians and creators and people like ourselves. So it's just something that we thought was a good idea, and Sean's really knowledgeable on it because he's been paying attention to it for a long time. And normally don't like to dive into that kind of stuff, but when it's directly impacting creators, it's just kind of one of those things.
Hey, got a question for you from Jeremy. Do you know anything about the new lower budget JHS pedals that just came out?
I have not played them myself, but I know Josh fairly well, and if he's gonna put his name on something, you know, I would trust it. You know, he's been doing this for a really long time. He's learned a lot along the way, and you know, he's even more obsessed with pedals than I am. So, and at $100, you know, it's pretty hard to argue. You know, they're not for the intense pedal nerds like myself. They're for people that are, you know, kind of just want to get a high quality, simple effect, and you know, they look really cool. I would buy one with confidence if I was in the market for such things.
Yep. And every experience I've had with JHS2, I mean, the last 6 months I've been using them, and everything that I've played that he builds, it does what it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. What do you got for us today?
I've got one that's pretty fun and pretty wild. So these pop up on Reverb occasionally. This was a collaboration I did with Adventure Audio here a couple of years ago. This is the Demogorgon V3. I can't remember if I've shared this before on any of these streams. I don't think I have.
I don't think I've seen this one.
Yeah, so we did a V1, which was just the fuzz. We did a V2, which was really intense, like really, really intense and high gain. And this one's toned down a little bit and a little more usable. It's my favorite version. It's a fuzz, tremolo, and reverb combination.
Oh, wow.
So we have the the order switch, I think. Yeah. Oh no, that's the expression. So you flip this switch and that controls which effect the expression pedal is controlling. And then this switch changes the order of either the fuzz first or the reverb and tremolo block first. And you can get some wild sounds out of it. I think we made 50 of them. I can't remember actually off the top of my head. And they pop up on Reverb once in a while. But if you want to get like some people were really freaking out about the Chase Bliss Ayahuasca, which is a very cool pedal, very, very cool pedal, and can do things that this one can't do. But it's kind of a similar idea of a pedal with reverb added as well. So the Demogorgon's really fun. I thought this would be a good one to talk about. We did it kind of as Halloween things. So we did it 3 years in a row, and we did it for Halloween specials. We're not doing one this year, but if you see one on Reverb, pick it up because it is a lot of fun.
So you can put the tremolo before the fuzz on that pedal.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's not a like vintage vibe tremolo either. I mean, it can be slow and pulsy, but it can just like almost get ring moddy with how fast and intense it can get. It just like and just get nuts.
That's cool. I do that with my Phase 90, and Phase 100 is really good at that too. That's the fast speed. That's awesome. Is it so? And what stereo outs?
No, it's a in and out, and then an expression control.
So cool.
Control the expression pedal.
Yeah.
On the tremolo. So yeah, it's wild, and then it's got a filter on it, so you can kind of do like cocktois stuff. It's an awesome pedal. It was a really fun one to be a part of.
Have you ever used the Voodoo Vibes, the black ones that came out like, I don't know, maybe the 90s? Remember those?
Oh yeah, they had the Voodoo Vibes, and then like was the Sparkle Drive part of that series too?
I don't remember. I don't even know. I lost. Those were really expensive. I lost mine, but I just remember it was such a cool tremolo because you could change the waveform on it. It could get really nasty, and you could soften it up. That was a really good. I forgot all about those.
I have to look that up.
What company was that made those? I have to look too. They were black and they were pretty. They were big on a pedal board. They were like a bit high.
Yeah. Were they really big? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, they were big. They had about 8 controls on them. Pretty big. God. I have to look that up now. I'm gonna do it right because I go crazy if I can't remember shit.
Yeah, one of the wildest tremolos that I've messed with, and I don't have one, but I played it a long time ago, is the Lightfoot Labs Goatkeeper. Which awesome. It was really big. I think it was well, yeah, actually. I think it was the size of this bad boy.
Yeah, that's kind of The Voodoo Vibe was Roger Meyer.
Okay.
And Roger Meyer, he's the guy that did a lot of Hendrix's stuff. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
the Octavia fame.
Yeah.
Which I have one somewhere. Of course I do. But it's somewhere around here. This, funny enough that I grabbed this one, this is actually a tremolo too. If you've ever seen the hologram dream sequence, this is one of my favorites. I haven't
played them, but I've seen them. They look rad.
They're so fun. They're so fun. You can make sounds you can't make with anything else with that thing because of the octave integration in it.
Right.
You got a high and low octave on each side, and you can have it pulse in different patterns. It's too much to explain, but it is a very fun pedal.
Where are those guys based?
Where are they from? Ryan was on the show when they first launched. I'm trying to remember. I know they're friends with Jamie and Julie from Earthquaker, but I don't think they're. No, I know where they're in. They're in Tennessee. They're in Knoxville.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's where they're at.
I'm gonna have to hit them up when I go to Nashville the next time. Then that's
really cool people. They've just done all kinds of crazy things. Like that was their first product, and since then they've just gotten crazier. They've got the microcosm. They've got all kinds of really wild effects out.
Yeah, every time I see their posts, I'm always interested, and then of course something comes up and I forget, and now you're reminding me. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for hanging out. What was your pedal called again that people can look for on Reverb?
This is the Demogorgon, and it was done in conjunction with Adventure Audio out of where in New York is he from? I forget. He's from in New York.
All right, in New York, Adventure Audio. But anyway, catch Blake on his Instagram, on his YouTube channel, his podcast, The Tone Mob. It's rocking always. And yeah, man, I was thinking of you because I had a pizza the other night, no pineapple.
Nice.
It's like in my brain now that
every time people just, they think of pizza and they think of me. That's a good thing in my book.
All right, man. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, later.
Yeah, thanks, Blake.
Bye.
All right, that was Blake from the Tone Mob. The Voodoo Vibe, Todd. Voodoo Labs. I think Voodoo Labs does the power supplies, and Voodoo Vibe is a tremolo, and it's a Roger Meyer pedal. Check them out. If you don't know it, it's a great pedal. Yes, making mistakes is a great thing, and that's something. I mean, when I lecture on anything, whether it's producing, songwriting, being in a band, I think, for me personally, some of the coolest things that I've come up with creatively come from mistakes. So, and anyway, with everything in life, you got to fuck up to get good, right? Yes. Yeah, I got to check out those new JHS pedals. So for those of you guys that are just tuning in, I'm Ken Rose. I play guitar with a rock band called Hero Jr., HEROJR. You can find us everywhere that there's rock and roll. And I've been using Orange live for 8.5 years, and I've been using it in the studio too. And this is what I've been tracking with for other people on sessions lately. I'm finding it really cool is I'm just using Rockaverb 50 and a PPC 112 and my 72 Les Paul, and this is how it sounds. Orange, Les Paul, great combination. No, that's what I was just saying. I definitely don't use audio capture devices, and for me personally, and I know everybody's got a totally different way of playing. For me, it's really about without being too hippie-ish, it's really about the feel and the vibration for me. And I've said it before on here. It's like even guitars. If I'm playing a guitar that doesn't feel good, I totally suck, and it's really hard for me. Just picking up other people's guitars and playing. I love the guitars that feel good in my hand, and I guess that's the way it is for me. And with amps too, I've always been a tube guy, even the smallest tube amps, and yeah, I'm not using capture devices. Yes, I use lots of different mics, but lately I have been using the Sennheiser. I don't know. I think it's a 960 straight up guitar microphone. That's the amp that my cabs get mic'd live with a lot too. And but I'm always. I mean, did you ask me if I mic? Yes, always mic up the amp. I mean, for me personally, there's absolutely. I would never be able to get the sound I get on records using modeling or anything that's direct. And that's just me personally. I can really feel it when I bend notes that the harmonics are just different. I've got I mean, I know there's a lot of, I think even Metallica's using modeling live, but I just have a relationship with sound where I like it loud. I like to feel it in the room with me when I'm recording. And an amp just, for me, it's great. But I've heard a lot of stuff done with modeling. There's a lot of metal stuff that's done with modeling. I just personally don't think it's as warm. I think that the bottom reacts differently. And in my opinion, it's like technology is never going to be able to beat the air that's moving from a speaker. But whatever gets you going, if I found a sound on modeling that worked good for me, I'd use it. I mean, whatever it takes to, feel good and get a good sound. I can't even read that. What the fuck? Yeah, orange amps and Les Pauls are, I mean, but last week I was playing my telly, and I got to say that orange just sounds good. There's just the way orange amps are designed especially for rock music. There's just something in the bottom end and harmonically that always feels good. And I don't know shit about the technical thing, so I got to plug it in and it's got to feel good. But yeah, orange stuff, it's really amazing. And I mean, I've said it here before, for those of you guys that haven't watched our hour before, the way I met Orange was I was living in London and I was about to move to America to start touring with Hero Jr. And they just said that if I took the OR50 with me, I would never go back to my vintage Marshalls. And it's really true. I haven't played my vintage Marshalls since I got my OR50, and all across the board, I mean, they're really useful amps. I use the Dual Terror a lot, recording on some pop stuff and some other things that I'm doing outside of the band. And like I said, this one is my main studio amp with the 112. So regardless of what style of music, I'm always using this on sessions. And yeah, I think it's really cool. The other thing which is really cool is it's got reverb, and I'm not a reverb guy, but even every now and then it's just fun fooling around with the reverb. And I think that this one really it's really good for some stuff. And this I'm just using. There's a really cool guitar builder out in Detroit. His name is Gabriel Curry, and he's got a brand called Echo Park Guitars, and they make effects. And I've been using his clean boost in a couple different variations in my live and studio rig, and it's just really, it's really cool. It's not a distortion box. It's just I'm overdriving the tubes going into the amp, and it's really awesome. It's kind of got that old 70s sound. And this is a great reverb on this amp. I mean, even cranked up, it's super cool having a tube reverb. And I only use it a little bit in the studio, but it's really good for the R&B kind of stuff. And it's actually pretty sensitive. So anyway, for you guys that don't use a lot of reverb, it's fun playing around with this, and it's on this amp. For those of you guys tuning in, I'm Ken Rose. I play guitar with Hero Jr. You can just Google Hero Jr. HERO JR. We're on social media. I said before that we're doing a live album, and I had a question. There was a recording question here. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, so David R. He asked me, I've just got 2 mics. Can I make a record with my band with 2 mics on the drums? Yeah, I think that you can do anything, and I think that it's really important if you're home with your band and you don't have money to go in the studio and you have any kind of access to home recording, whatever it takes, if especially with rock, with any music, but I mean, rock music you can get away with a little more because it's loud and noisy. But if you've got a good band, you can definitely do something with 2 mics on the drums and it won't be crappy. And I can give you a couple tips. If I was recording with 2 mics, I would probably record the drums in mono, obviously, and I would put 1 mic as an overhead and 1 mic out in front of the kick, so you're getting the sound coming from the kit, from the front and over. The one thing you got to check, because if you're recording with a small microphone setup like that, definitely do a couple tests and make sure, 1, that you're getting enough bottom and that the kick is defined, and 2, make sure that you're getting enough snare. Like, you're always going to get enough of the hardware, and you got to put the mics in a place where you got a balance between kick, snare, and hardware. That's the main thing that you're going to be going for. And then once you've recorded, there's so much stuff you can do with compressing. And actually, I mean, if you're using 2 mics, yes, exactly. Reverb, if you need it, can be messy if you don't have it, if you use too much of it. Yeah, so recording with 2 mics. So the first thing is I would suggest putting 1 overhead and 1 in front of the drums, and find a place that sounds good. Problems that you might have would be phasing problems, and if the mics are out of phase, you won't get the true sound. It'll cancel itself out. Okay, that you can you can check phase a couple ways. You can use headphones and turn up both microphones, and you can actually hear that whatever kind of buzz or hum or noise in the room, you can hear it's out of phase. The other thing, you can check phase, just record your drums and check out how the waveforms are. They should line up from the front mic and the back mic. And you just really, I mean, I am so not technical when I do all this stuff. You got to just use your ears if you don't know what you're doing, because you can get such great results by just going with what sounds good for yourself. So the other thing that you can do with two mics, and it takes a little more time, but if the sorry, if the performance is good, that's for me the first thing. I mean, when I'm producing other bands or being asked to mix other bands, or what I think about music, the first thing that I pay attention to is the song. You know, is the song good? Does the band play the song with a lot of feeling? And then third, you know, does it sound good? But I would take a great song with a great performance over a shitty song and a shitty performance with amazing sound, because you just can't fake a good performance. So if you've got a good performance here, I think we're back now. Are we back? Anyway, okay, I'm talking about if you. All right, there we go. Yeah, it's with the internet. Yeah. Okay, so two mics. So if you get a performance, which I think is the most important thing outside of having a great song, you're missing kick and snare to be in your face in a rock band, and you're using two mics. You can use samples, and I mean, I don't recommend using samples all the time, but there are times, especially if you're working with two mics on drums and you need a little more kick and snare, just you could either manually put in kick and snare samples, and if the performance is good, you never even notice. So I would just recommend trying it. But to answer the question, yes, you can use two mics, one overhead, one in front. And if that doesn't work, try putting them wherever you can get your bottom and your punch of the snare, because those are going to be the two things that when you mix, you're going to probably need more of or less of. So, and then just, you know, when we record our band, we're not using a whole lot of microphones. I think we're recording the whole album on 11 tracks right now. It's definitely not more than that. We're doing everything live, and it is really possible to record at home and get good results. I think the better rehearsed you are, and the better songs you have, that definitely is going to help when you're recording at home, because you can't fake that stuff. And just use your ears and have fun. I mean, the most important thing anyway when you're recording is, you know, at first you get a documentation of what you've written and what you've played, and it's always good to be able to record at home, because that's what you might need for the next step. So fool around, and I mean, recording questions, fire away. If you guys are in bands, if you guys are trying to record your own songs at home, I mean, you really can make some great records on a shoestring budget at home, whether it's pop, rock. There's all kinds of great gear out there that can help you be creative. So, what's the point of pedals with identical paint and lettering? Well, if they're not the same pedal, then I guess it's fine. I mean, if you're, I think that's up to the marketing, right? Some people are super creative with their marketing, and some people are super simple with their marketing. I mean, like anything, if a company's got pedals that are all the same color and they kick ass, I mean, I think the new JHS pedal, and I've been using two of them. There's this one, the Bender. This is a really great tone bender-ish kind of pedal, except it's got some modern stuff too. And I've been using the Crimson as well. I've been using the Crimson with the band, and that is a very, very good big muff, like a Russian muff kind of sound. I really, really like that one. So, and all of their pedals in this line have the same paint job. And to be honest, I mean, for me personally, my pedal board isn't an art show. It's like if the stuff does the job, I'm all in. It could be the coolest paint job in the world, but if it sucks, I'm not going to have it on my pedal board. But I think they did. I mean, I have no idea, but I think that JHS did this because it's just, this is a line of 4 pedals, and they're all the same paint job with a different name on them, and I think they actually look really cool. So that's my take on that. But I'm not sure if that's what you meant, John. So hope that helps. I'm Ken Rose. We're here at Orange Hangs. We do this every Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern time here in America, 9 o'clock UK time. I'm playing my 72 Les Paul with original T-top pickups in it. And I've got a Rockerverb 50 through a PPC 112. And this is the high gain channel. Everything straight up at 12. No reverb. Yeah, and clean channel, also quite cool. With the clean boost. man. So I guess we're gonna call it a day because it's 5 o'clock. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your questions. If you want to write a specific question or get in touch, you can do that over my Instagram. That's at mywarpedhalo, MYWARPEDHALO. You can check out Hero Jr. online. There's a lot of stuff on the Orange Instagram, and there's some more detailed amp review kind of things on the Orange YouTube, and www.herojuniormusic.com is our website, and at Hero Jr. HEROJR on Instagram. There's all kinds of stuff there. Thanks for hanging out, and have a great week. And we'll see you at Orange Hangs next week, 4 o'clock on Mondays. That's 4 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock UK time. All right, have a good week. Lots of love, you guys. See ya.